Hi, it's Amy from Amy's Mix of Creativity. I'm back with some collage books that I just find are so fun to work with, and I can't wait to dive into them. They are from Maremi's company. Her name is Marta, but she has a YouTube channel that's called Maremi Small Art, which Maremi comes from her first name and her daughter's name combined. So check her out if you get a chance so you can see all of these great books that she has come out with for journaling and card making and collaging. It's just so much fun. So these are cut apart books. They are not sticker books. They don't come off the page. You have to cut them off the page, but if you have a way to cut them other than fussy cutting, that might work. If you want to use die cuts or use a like a brother scan and cut, that might be efficient to help with that, with some of the designs. But as you'll see, she makes it so that it's pretty easy to cut the designs out of the pages. They're all one-sided with the background on the other side so that you don't have to cut into other designs. Okay, so let me get started. I'm going to cut this video into two so that it won't go too long. The first one won't go too long. I really want to show both the summer stories and the spring stories books. She has a slew of other books, which I'll show you in a minute. I think what I'll do is I'll start with summer stories. See, we're in the middle of summer right now. I got these at the same time, but I do really want to share the spring stories also because it's so adorable. As is both of these. They're both just gorgeous. Okay, so come back for the second half of this video, please, to make sure you catch that too, and subscribe to my channel so you know when it comes on the YouTube channel, so you'll be able to check out both of these parts. First of all, I'm just gonna show you this. Look how amazing this cover is. I think Marta does an excellent job at combining the digital artwork, and she has like a touch of, in such a creative, artistic way that she kind of combines everything and puts things together and makes it just beautiful. Okay, so I highly recommend these books. I got them off of Amazon. I think that's mainly where they're sold. So you may want to, do a search for the for her name, Maremi's collages or that type of thing. Okay, so again, it's Maremi's Illustrazioni. She's I'm not exactly sure what country she is in, but I know that it's a foreign country from where I am living, and I think that she's such a wonderful person to even just hear her voice when she's doing her videos and everything. It's soothing. She just is lovely. So Marta, I'm very happy to have found you. This is the Summer Stories Collage Ephemera for art journaling and card making and backgrounds. And here's her name here, down at the bottom. Okay, so when you open up the book, she gives you a little, some details about the purchase and about her books and her collections. Gives you like a sample of what's in the book and some of the little designs that she comes up with. She's very into, the books are highlight beautiful nature and scenes and fairies, which are in a lot of the books that she has come out. Now here's a page with all the different collections. She has all the books. She has industrial, what's it called, steampunk type of books also, if you're into that type of thing. She has Christmas and winter books that are specifically with florals and botanicals, animals, fairies, butterflies, whatever you like. Okay, so this is not just this type of designs, although this is something that she keeps I think a little, like all her books kind of have a theme, and they all have a little bit of this, whimsical fairy-like type of theme going on. So this is the summer one, so you can see they're walking on the beach. She's walking on the beach. I love the little boys too. It's not just all little girl fairies. Some of them have wings, some of them don't. You can always cut off the wings if you'd rather just have, the girl herself or the boy. So then as you see, when you get into the pages, the page opposite of what the cutouts are on is usually a very, like a scenic design or something that is, either kind of plain or something that you won't mind so much cutting into, but you could also use it in your crafting and in your card making and scrapbooking. So here is a beautiful ocean theme. It's just, I don't know, I just love the backgrounds too. They're very, even though, they're a little moody, but, with the clouds and everything, but it's just so, like, I don't know, gives me almost the shivers. It's just like such a beautiful, like memory of what life is like, right? It's not like cartoonish or anything. It looks real, so it's cool. It's like, I love that. Okay, I grew up near the ocean, so the ocean's very dear to me. Grew up on the mid-coast of Maine, and I just this book spoke to me when I saw it. And here's some rocks, right? But some of them are little circles with scenes in them. And then you got some driftwood here. These are things you could cut apart using just, fussy cutting with I would suggest some sharp scissors that are easy to get into, with all the going around things and everything. But you also don't have to cut these into these, individually. This, you could make like sections be background, all this wood, the driftwood here could be its own little like tag or background. So there's options. You also have words, which she is great at, like putting in a whole bunch of words for journaling and for planning, or for the junk journals. Anything you're interested in, this would work for. So here's some flowers. I'm gonna move it over so the actual sticker, I'm sorry, excuse me, again, they're not stickers, they're cutouts. Just remember that. Don't get the book and think, oh, I'm gonna pull out all these beautiful stickers. The cutouts are for cutting out, specifically for collaging, and that makes them special. So I think that's great too. There's a lot on a page. I kind of feel like maybe sometimes it'd be better if there wasn't so much put on pages. But again, you could cut out sections. You could cut into, like, this is a circle. You could make with a die cut and cut the circle out. Instead of, cutting it with, directly, all around, and fussy cutting like that. That might not be your thing. It might be hard. Remember, when you're cutting out things like in a book like this, you don't have to cut everything detailed. That's not necessary. And, because you might want to put something on the edge of the page, you could cut in and have it be, cut in parts so that you're not using up, you're not using everything on that you're cutting. So if you cut into something and you make an error and you're cutting it wrong and you decide, oh, I don't like it like that, you can always use that as, as a decoration or part of an embellishment, and have it not be, perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. And crafting, paper crafting especially, everything's handmade, everything, you're making things yourself. Try to not feel like you have to be perfect. I know that's part of my, issue. Sometimes I get worried things don't look as great as they should, and I'm sure people don't. If I give cards to people, they don't even, notice any imperfections. It's just great to get a card. I also want to talk about how this is how you would cut this out. Use a paper cutting tool, or like a knife. You know what I mean? Like in my last video I was talking about it. I also made a video about another journaling book, which you should look at too if you're into this type of thing, and you know, to get some inspiration. But you know, if you have a you know, one of those craft knives, that would help cut the edges. You could cut these with it, or you could use a trimmer. I would suggest using a trimmer to make it really straight. But if you were to cut around like this design here, you might, you know, make it imperfect. You don't have to go into every little nook and cranny. I know that seems like, you know, why would I even mention that? But I think we sometimes get, as crafters, we sometimes get like a little upset if things aren't like in order in just a certain way. And I think that's important, that you give yourself grace and forgive yourself for doing anything that is not exactly, you know, the way that you envision it or that you think it should be, because it's all, you know, just learning and experimenting. And wow, look at these little people. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. So adorable. She comes up with the cutest little pictures. I love it. So yeah, so you know, like these little kids, just have fun, do your thing, right? Cut the book up. Don't keep the book as I know some people, oh, I love the book so much, I just want to look through it and I want to you know, save every little aspect of it. I understand that, but that's not what it's meant for, right? Here's a very cute, like it looks so real, yet it is like almost like a cartoonish type of design. And then you've got the ephemera here, you know, some pieces of written paper that say nothing, which is, you know, that's the thing you want to make. You just have like print your paper. Here's some birds. Again, it'd be easy to cut these, pretty easy to cut them out if you know, just go around them, cut them out, and then you can make it more detailed if need be. Here's some really cute girls again, and their tulle with their little dresses, the flowers. You know, if you have some punches, you could come in here and punch things, like, you know, make squares or circles. Kind of like, you know, imagine different ways of using the book. Okay, so I went about halfway through. I'm gonna go a little further, and then I'm gonna keep the rest for the next video. Hopefully these videos won't be too long. I hate going too long, but look at these funky girls. They're like hippies. They look like from the 70s, 60s and 70s. So cool. And the drift, you know, it's like wooden designs, the rocks and the shells. Another really pretty background. Different things. Here you got some cutouts of light bulbs and little glass bottles, vials. You know, like message in a bottle type of thing. Here's a framed picture. Okay, on this, you know what? I'm going to actually stop it on this note because I want you to come back and see me in the next video so I can go through the Spring Stories book and finish this one. Okay, I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.